Welcome to Tabletop Gaming with Juice. I'm Juice, and today I'm going to do a video response to Dice Diaries, who posed a question to the community about 3 GM behaviors we all hate. First of all, I want to say he touched on some very good ones. I also watched Tim Harper's about the same topic, and he as well talked about some good ones. And there was a little bit of talking about things that I dislike. Now, I'm not going to purposely not mention them or anything like that, but I'm going to mention 3 that I think are at the top of my list. So I'm going to start with the first one, and it's kind of because I think this one's on my mind because of the fact that I just did a blog post kind of about this. But number 1 is punishing players for lacking roles. I've played in D&D groups that didn't have a rogue before, for example, and there was no way to unlock a chest. It was a steel chest. It was too heavy to pick up, and we couldn't get it open. It was blatantly just trying to punish us for not having a rogue. Now, and we tried to use some creative thinking, and it just didn't work out. What I personally think probably happened was that the DM decided to, hey, I'm going to screw with the players who don't have a rogue and just put this chest that can't be opened, and they'll just have to deal with it. And then when we came up with ideas, he just wanted to shoot us down and say no. So number 1 is punishing players for lacking roles. Number 2, too much monologue or backstory. I'm sure we've all played in a game where the DM or GM decided to tell you everything about the world and things like that, and where maybe 10% of it was useful for that gaming session. And that's fine. They want to share something that they've put a lot of time and effort into, and I can appreciate that. But forcing you to sit there for an hour to hear about, this planet that you're not even going to travel to or have nothing to do with this adventure, is, I think, overboard. Another thing is monologuing, right? I don't know about you guys, but I've played in a lot of games where, I've been confronted with a villain, and the villain talks and talks and talks. And then as a player, I want to say something or do something, and the DM says, oh, just a minute, and finishes talking and doing his monologue. That's number 2. Number 3 is lack of consistency with rules or expectations. For instance, playing a game, you want the rules to be consistent. That way you know what the parameters are for your actions. I've played in many games where the rules were not consistent from session to session, and either the DM just decided to change them on the fly, or he didn't know what they were in the first place, and that's fine. Just let us know when this comes up, and let us know what your ruling is before the next session, or even at the time. But when it continuously changes over and over and over again, that's when it becomes a problem. As for the expectations part, for example, I would say rules light in some ways. For instance, I have a player who wants to do something absolutely crazy that normally, if I went by the mechanics and realistic way, they would outright die. Oh, I'm going to jump off this cliff on top of this guy that's 40 feet down. Or let someone in encounters do that to kill the half dragon in Horde of the Dragon Queen. And it was awesome. Everyone loved it. I tend to go I'm very consistent. If a player wants to try something that's epic or like a Hollywood moment kind of thing, I allow it. I bend the rules to allow memorable gameplay. And if you're a DM like that, then be consistent with it. Don't decide that's an awesome idea, I'm going to allow it for this guy. And then when this other person tries something, say, well, I think it's stupid, I'm not going to allow that, you just died. That's inconsistent. Cater to, what your players want and be consistent with it. Maybe you're a simulationist and you want things to be very realistic. Let your players know up front so they don't try something crazy like that. So just be consistent. So with that said, thank you for watching. I'd love to hear what your 3 least favorite GM behaviors are. Post them in the comments below, or feel free to do a video response and chime in with the rest of us. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Bye-bye.